First, I want to salute your courage.
Republican Congressman Justin Amash, who represents Michigan's 3rd District, came out for the impeachment of Donald Trump. And while he was discussing it at a town hall, he got a standing ovation for it. Watch.
I'm confident that if you read Volume 2, you will be appalled at much of the conduct. And I was appalled. To me, the conduct was obviously impeachable. So then the question is, do you then move forward with impeachment proceedings? In the Mueller report, he asked the White House counsel to create a false record. Things like that to basically mislead people about a statement he had made. Things like that, to me, reflect incredible dishonesty and really harm the office of the presidency. You see countries around the world where people do not respect the rule of law and they don't care about the character of their leaders. They don't care about the ethics of their leaders. And in these countries, all that matters is that your person is in power, and as long as your person's in power, that person's allowed to do whatever they want. You saw what happened to me from our so-called leader, Kevin McCarthy. I read the Mueller report. I'm sure he did not read it. I stated what it actually says, and he just resorted to ad hominem attacks and other various attacks that have nothing to do with the Mueller report. This is the kind of leadership, in quotes, that we now have in Congress.
First, I want to salute your courage. And that's...
So it's pretty sad when you have Justin Amash, a Republican, coming out for the impeachment of Donald Trump, but Nancy Pelosi, Democratic leader, does not support impeachment. I mean, he laid it all out. So even look, I've talked about this countlessly, so I don't want to go through the whole Mueller report again, but the multiple cases of obstruction of justice, but even apart from the Mueller report, you also have the violation of the emoluments clause, where you have, in just one example of many, the Saudis, after Trump won the election, bought up a bunch of Trump hotel rooms, and then months later was the Saudi arms deal. And then there was also, of course, what happened with Khashoggi, and just no response, essentially, from the Trump administration. I mean, there are multiple reasons here to move for impeachment proceedings. Now, I want to read this response from Glenn Greenwald, who also recognizes I guess the strength here in what Justin Amash is doing. Despite many issue disagreements, I've long been an admirer of Justin Amash because he has a set of principles he believes and steadfastly applies without the slightest regard for which party it helps or who it angers. Imagine how much better DC would be if this were the norm. So, Glenn Greenwald, I think, pointing out what would be great. I mean, if you had more politicians like this who, look, again, it's very unlikely that I agree with Justin Amash on any policy issue because he is a Republican, but he's at least principled here. He can recognize that the president broke the law, and that when the president breaks the law, then yeah, of course, move for impeachment. I mean, it's funny he got a standing ovation, not because he doesn't deserve it for doing this, but it shouldn't have to come to this. I mean, this should be the default position. A president breaks the law, you should push for impeachment. This should sort of be obvious. But politics right now has gotten so crazy that there are people on the left that are giving Trump a pass here because they think it'll be a distraction if you move for impeachment. I broke down all those ridiculous arguments in a previous video on this very thing, so go watch that for my arguments there. But look, if the president breaks the law, I don't care if you can't convict in the Senate. I don't care if you think it's a distraction. There has to be a standard. If the president breaks the law, you move for impeachment. So Justin Amash's position here is the only correct position on this issue.